Guys, this is Hagop Talk episode 3, and with us today is Alex Bublik.
Hey, how you doing, folks?
Yeah,
So, ask away, sir. What would you like to know? What's gonna be your theme?
you were talking about how life is hard work.
Yes,
Yes,
I
let's
was.
talk about that.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, just recently, I guess that I finally managed to break out of that shell or like that repetitive mindset of always, getting annoyed by problems that come up in my life, whether it's in any field. But I realized it's really like your reaction to it, and when you start reacting differently and just focusing as much as possible, you're diminishing the excessive suffering that you're adding to it, and that problem actually becomes, fun to solve. I think that since we deal with so much stuff on a daily basis, that you have to come to the conclusion, to realization that it's really better to do something whilst focusing 100% through breath or whatever that tool might be, and just like pushing through it, but at the same time like not putting excessive suffering to it. And then I honestly believe that problem can be like whatever it might be, not easier to solve, but like, you're just okay with it. You're just okay with it. And for me, I mean, this first week was like the first week I grinded like crazy in my life, at work and at home. I actually enjoyed more what I do at home. It's similar to what I do at work, but it it felt exhaustive. But it's honestly, I mean, I find that Buddha also, to achieve enlightenment, had to work hard, but then you tell me otherwise too. I'd like to hear also your view on it. Yeah, that's, I mean, up to now, that's what I see. I mean, I don't see it as something bad. I used to see it as, oh my god, hard work, but because I take a different standpoint through breath, just focusing and not letting the mind kill me, I see hard work as something, not bad. Because obviously, to build, whether a body, a house, your dreams, achieve that knowledge, there must be like effort that has to be put in it. But the most important is really not to be less frustrated as possible during the process, because if
The
not,
frustration is resistance.
exactly,
You're resisting the
yes,
situation of I don't want to be here, I don't want to be doing this.
exactly,
It's stressful, it's anxiety inducing, and it's like you don't want it to be there.
exactly.
Yeah, that resistance is creating suffering.
Yeah, and there was a formula. It's suffering is equals resistance plus more suffering. So when you take out the resistance, it's only suffering, basically, from what I remember. So when there's less resistance, and you're okay, like a big example of, you're getting pinged by like 10 people to do something for you at work, and you're getting angry. But the more angry you get, the more frustrated you get, the less you'll be able to do, because it's like eating up inside of you. You'd be tired. So the best thing to do is breathe, take it easy, and ping back by who's a bigger priority. So you're diminishing the resistance, thus becoming better at handling whatever situation you're in. Yeah, exactly. So it's resistance, a lot of resistance. I mean, you could be angry about running because you're suffocating, or you could be grateful because, oh great, I'm running. You know, I can breathe. I can see. I have my legs that can carry me. It's really we overlook these small things on a daily basis. It's one of the reasons I keep a gratitude journal after my meditation practice. I thank anyone or whatever, you know, for where I am, for what I've achieved. It's important not to lose perspective. Yeah. So, I mean, that's my point of view on it, my take on hard work for now. We'll see how it goes later. Um, Up to now, it's all good. I mean, at the meds, I don't take them as often though. I don't smoke as often either because if it's too much, but in the end, it's like it's all you, you know, it's all inside of you. It's really now I understand the reaction, what people are talking about all the time, like how do you react to it, but it really has to do a lot with the breath and refocusing your mind as much as possible. Now that was, I think, the biggest challenge wasn't the hard work itself, was like the hard work with myself, you know, my reaction to everything around me. And it's a daily, not a struggle, but it's daily work. Yeah, we'll see. Things always get better, so we'll see how things in a few years look like. But one continues to give that effort. You can take a break. It's all good to take breaks. Nothing wrong with that. Just little by little, day by day is the most important thing. Breathing, focusing, breathing, refocusing. Taking it easy, taking it hard. I don't know. Yeah.
That's right.
What about you, Gop? I mean, I know you've been working hard since high school, and you're getting back in the grind on a daily basis, which is good. So, I honestly think that also that's where the creative process comes from too, it because in a way, like, the greatest, not people, but achievements in the sciences, arts, or literature weren't done like overnight, weren't achieved overnight. People put their soul into it, and I think that's what I believe. I'm not sure when they decided that the work of art that they worked on, or whatever, the science project or the invention, was enough. They said it was enough, and they gave to the world what they could, whether it was the light bulb, whether it was, I don't know, the Mona Lisa or Dali's surrealism, or Rene Magritte's "This is not a pipe," or whatnot.
It's true, they each inspired all
Yeah,
next generations of people.
it's really hard to see this, like, with all the distractions that we have today. It's one of the reasons I put a big emphasis on the breath a lot, which can draw us back to the present and help us understand and see things clearly. I mean, like, we can't take the external factors we could use the external factors to help us out, but a lot of the work and the progress has to come from within. Yeah. uh, what's your take on it, you know this creativity, this hard work? I mean, you mentioned that hard, when it becomes play, it's not.
Work.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you're still working,
but
but to you it feels like you're playing.
right. Okay.
This way you can work really hard and it doesn't feel like you're working hard.
Well,
even though you are.
yeah, yeah. But I guess one has to also look after himself, to see how you feel mentally, if you're exhausted, if you're going to sleep late, what you're eating too. Not to, even though you can play like 24 hours a day, which is translated as work, you still have to, be careful, look after yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't take any like drugs that would keep me all night, because I like to sleep too. But I also believe that everything comes when at the right time, when people are ready for it. I'm just surprised how, like, at my workplace, it was like a puzzle. All I had to do was just be patient, even with myself. I had people to remind me of that, which was good. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I also feel my work is teaching me patience. Sometimes you just gotta wait.
You do. You gotta breathe and wait, breathe all the time. You get caught up with so much stuff, it can drive you nuts. And now I know why every person or whatever book or self-help always write or tell you, emphasize to come back to the present. Because you want to destroy those old thinking habits, old neural pathways that, add frustration to it. It's like, take it a good example. It's a lot easier to receive a punch when you're less tense than when you're like tensing. It's the same thing in jiu-jitsu, because if you tense too much and the person's leg locking or choking you, it's gonna hurt a lot more because you're resisting to it. But when you
Yeah.
just let it go, you're gonna tap faster, but at least you didn't resist. Same thing with a punch that you're receiving or falling. There's a chapter in the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu where he draws an example of a of a drunk person who's riding downhill in a cart. The cart stops and just throws the guy into the wall, and the guy smashes, and then he gets up as nothing, happened. And I could totally understand. The guy was like so relaxed. Yeah, it probably must have hurt, but he was really, loose.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, I did fall a few times, and I remember when I was tense falling, it hurt a lot more.
Yeah.
Even in jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, they always remind you to relax, not tense. Like, yeah, it's a lot easier to, like we just mentioned, not adding resistance to anything you do, and keep reminding yourself of that. Yeah, which resists persists.
That's right.
Um, yeah, what else would you like me to elaborate on or proliferate?
Whatever you want.
Well, so I don't know if anyone remembers this movie called Limitless.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, and where drugs are good.
Yeah.
Here, take these drugs, you'll
Yeah.
achieve your full potential.
Yeah. Well, actually,
I love that movie. It's such a good movie.
It is. It's just like I mean, what's funny, there is this sort of drug, and at the same time it's outside and it's inside of you. So like we have these focus drugs, Adderall, if any have ever taken them, or even cocaine apparently helps people focus, or Prozac, from like stories that I read, med students taking that. So me I had like a mini burnout during the COVID, and that's where I started taking the Ciprolex, and smoking cannabis. But I noticed, even if it made me like feel good and relaxed, like the anxiety or the stresses came back. So in the end, I had to work a lot on what I was afraid of. Oh, thank you very much. What was hard for me, it was solving problems, but it wasn't really the solving problems of work in IT. It's just the reaction to it. So in the end, I had to work with them, with these drugs, and I noticed that my mind, it was really nuts. It really felt like I took that magic pill and that like unleashed potential. But what happened is that I just stopped reacting. I became more relaxed,
Less resistant.
and all of a sudden, all the stuff that like what I was learning through years was just popping up like crazy. And I was like, whoa! So this limitless exists within us, each and one of us. We just have to, not resist and let things happen. When you're studying, it's better not to get frustrated, even if it's hard and long. You're running, you're exercising, because anyway, I mean, if you look at Buddha, it took him time to reach enlightenment. It took him a lot of time. He went through one teacher to another. Everything takes time, and
Yeah.
it's
And a lot of time alone.
yes, and it's really normal to like spend time honing some kind of skill. So that limitless, I mean, in the end, it's funny. I mean, they exaggerate the movie, but I mean, I'm not. It's just for me, it was a joy that recently I moved from a cloud server to a VPS. I managed like what I enjoy is like I'm able to understand a lot of stuff now in IT, which I wasn't able to because I just had so much, I guess in a way, clutter built up over the years, which was like, yeah, that clutter was actually one of the biggest causes of suffering and problems. And the moment I started uncluttering through yoga, breathing, watching videos to remind me of breaking the habit of doing this, thinking like that. I mean, Ciprolex, yeah, it's a pharmaceutical drug. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, honestly, as long as you work. So I did follow my own therapy. And yeah, I could even say Ciprolex is like what that magic pill that Bradley used, or
Yeah.
escitalopram. But the only downside is that it makes you sleepy.
Side effects.
Yes.
There's always side
yeah,
effects.
side effects. So
When you can find that space within yourself, there's no side effects.
exactly,
You can get to that state without side effects,
yeah, that was the idea.
without dependence or attachment to the drug.
Yeah, and no, that's it. So I started taking less and less. I'm moving on to CBD oil, and honestly, so that potential, limitless human potential is within all of us.
Yes.
It's just like the attachment that I had to it, because I had like this, well, when I lost my mom, I lost many jobs in IT, and people always told me, change careers and stuff, but I didn't believe them. So I had mostly frustrations against all of that.
Yeah.
And when I landed this job, I was like supported so well by many people. So at the same time, this place where I work right now is a place of growth for me, not only on the intellectual level, but on the psychological level too. Yeah, so I notice more and more, you just have to let that potential inside of you just flow.
Yeah, and it takes time. It takes time.
Oh yeah, of course.
We're all trying to rush through
Yeah,
life, and then life is over.
No, that's a big thing that one of the people I want you to meet has been telling me, Alexi, slow down. Always in a rush. Always in a rush. And she's right. Just by like even doing the simplest, smallest things without rush at home, like makes a big difference in one's life. Even opening the toilet bowl in a slow manner, because you're breaking the habit of like doing things so fast.
Yeah.
That's where we come back to being present, not letting external pressure kill your inside, because it's really easy to get caught up and become insane in the world that we live in today.
Yeah.
I mean, all this depression.
Even more reason to get out of your mind.
Yeah, big reason. Yeah, I mean, big reason to get out of your mind.
Because then you're eating all the thoughts and feelings of the people around you.
Yeah.
And right now, it's an incredibly fearful and anxious state for the entire world.
Yeah, it's a very low vibe. So, you gotta, keep being, to be honest, a better version of oneself is a kinder version. This is how I see it. It's not like being the best in everything. It's being good at what you want to be good at, but without the competition, That's how I see it. That's how I feel better. I only want to get better at what I do because I don't know.
You're competing with yourself.
Yeah, exactly, with myself. That's all. That's all. That's all you need. That's all you need. Yeah, limitless. It really does exist.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure, I don't know, maybe you've encountered this, because this is the first time that I'm studying and I'm like able to understand stuff. I'm like, whoa, like where does this come from?
The closest experience I have to it are psychedelics.
Oh.
Like mushrooms and LSD.
Yeah.
It puts you in that limitless state.
Oh.
But again, it's temporary.
No.
It only lasts a couple hours.
But I mean, like, in the sense of when you were studying, because me, I always had a mental block on almost every high school subject, Even that's why I never went to IT or math, because I just couldn't focus. I didn't have that confidence, I'm like talking more of like that, you understood architecture, math, physics. You're pretty good in physics.
I tutored physics.
Yeah, you tutored physics.
Austin, yeah.
Like I'm sure if I knew how to manage myself back then, physics wouldn't have been a problem. It's just today I don't have much time to learn it. But I'm happy I could finally understand how the IT methods, I'm building my own VPS server. Yeah, I like understanding stuff.
That's great.
Yeah, limitless potential. Yeah, I'm happy where I got to today. That I don't, because it's a place of growth, and things have to be hard to push you to grow.
That's right, or we wouldn't grow.
No, exactly. You just don't. Just like people have to cut the resistance when something nasty appears.
Yeah.
And it's not as always easy. That's why you have to get into the habit of cutting the resistance in whatever challenge you're facing. Cutting the resistance, observing your breath, your thoughts, getting basically to the point, being tired of being sick and tired all the time. That's where I'm getting at today.
Yeah, exactly. You're at that level of hunger where
Yeah.
you're really pushing yourself. Because if you weren't this hungry, you'd be too comfortable to put in the effort
exactly.
to watch your breathing and
Yeah.
coming back into your body, centering
Yes.
yourself, and that's the
I think
the real work.
Yeah,
that you're bringing back into importance, because society will tell you your real work is to make money, and then your soul is telling you my real work is to come back to this present moment.
Yeah, that's.
But then you realize that the inner work you can do regardless with what you're doing. Whether you're working or you're not working, because it just relieves so much pressure that's coming from all our resistance, as you say.
Yes, that's reality of the present moment. It's without the expectations. Yeah, just doing the work that you like. Yeah, you're 100% right. coming back to the body, to the mind.
It's finding this balance between our inner work and outer work.
Yeah, it's
Because too much of the focus is on the outer work, which
True.
will definitely help you in terms of surviving,
yeah.
but it won't fulfill you internally.
That's
Because
true.
even if you're acquiring successes and wealth,
Mhm.
it's not fulfilling you deep down inside.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's that balance, a balance in everything. It's it's tough. That balance is, it's not. Yeah, it's tough. I used to be left, right, right, left. Now I'm coming back to the middle.
Me too.
Yeah.
The middle path,
Yeah, the middle.
middle way. I'm incorporating more and more of the inner work into my outer work as I'm doing the outer work, because my body's moving,
Yeah,
my arms are moving, my legs are moving, but then where is my awareness? Where is my focus? So that's where work doesn't feel as much as work,
exactly. And I think
especially if it's something you really enjoy doing,
yeah,
which I feel that right now with Uber Eats deliveries.
yeah. The resistance just wears you mentally out. It kills every creative part.
Yeah, I used to resist this work last year. It was painful to do. Now it's so pleasant.
I know,
It's the
huh?
same work,
Yeah.
but I changed my perception of it. I resisted it a lot less.
Yeah.
And I also learned as I was doing it and put myself in a position where I'd enjoy it more. Like, for example, walking and biking instead of driving. And I'm just seeing how there's different levels of stress, where driving is the highest level of stress and biking is the second highest. And then the chillest is walking. Like when I want to smoke a joint on my way there, wow, walk there, why not, you know? But it's a lot harder to do that on a bicycle while you're watching
Oh man.
all the traffic going by. And that's what I like, is I have to be present. If I'm not present, I'm gonna get into an accident. I'm much more likely to get into an accident.
That's so true.
So I kind of like how it forces me into presence through the thrill of death. You know, it's like death is close in that state.
You know, you're right about that perception, because so many times, like, even family members told me, like, quit your job, it's too stressful. In the end, it's not the job that I hated. It's just like my reaction to it wasn't as good, you know.
Yeah.
Now I enjoy it more, even with its challenges. So it's really changing that perceptions through breath, not reacting all the time. It's the smallest things, not reacting, so that you're gonna enjoy more. But that balance between hard work and rest has to be found. So yeah, and the less you resist anything, the faster solution can come.
Yeah, the solution comes.
Yeah, because you're putting fear and anxiety aside and you're just being okay, focusing. Yeah, we'll see how we progress in the next few years. I have no doubt it's going to be better. Yeah. Limitless. It's, I mean, it's just funny how.
It's funny.
I mean, honestly, I think that guy was pretty smart. He didn't need that pill, and I guess, like, that side effect that he's encountering when he's like it's with many people, that metaphor, they when they stop taking the pill, he's like getting all these
Side effect.
yeah, side effects, and people become independent, they get their anxiety back. It's because they didn't do the work while taking the meds.
Yeah,
and
the inner work.
yeah, the space, to make that space.
So that you can bring back that space.
Yeah,
without
without
the drugs.
exactly.
And that's what he found. He brought back that space, so he didn't even need the drugs anymore. And then he's going for president.
Wait, you sure he didn't? No, he didn't need it anymore.
I
Oh,
think
yeah,
at the end he was not taking it anymore.
Well,
Right?
I don't know if you saw the series. He needed a shot of something, but yeah. No, actually, the series, that was the whole adventure. They were searching. Take a look at it. They were searching for how to be without it, but yeah, it's quite something. Well, yeah, but anyway, like you said, people need to work with it, so they find that space within
Yeah,
themselves.
and it gives you a glimpse. It puts you in that space, and then it becomes easier to bring it into your sober state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think by now they should have already gotten their chips.
Yeah, so let's call it a day.
Yeah, let's call it a day. Thanks for inviting me, man, for
Oh.
this.
No problem. I'm glad we're getting to finally shoot on the balcony.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.